Oh, hi, I'm Kang, and I'm joining the military. It's definitely because I want to fight for my country, and not at all because I'm broke and need money. Now, I know that I'm probably not ready for war because I'm a pussy who can barely handle gore in movies, so I prepared myself by buying this game called Insurgency Sandstorm because it's apparently war at its realist according to its Steam page. So it's way more realistic than something like Call of Duty. Watch, I'll prove it to you. See?
Insurgency Sandstorm is fucking awesome. Buy it, but after watching this video first. The sequel to the 2014 indie hit Insurgency, which apparently is really good, but I've never played it. Sandstorm released 4 years later in 2018 and was met with very positive reviews. Fast forward to 2021 and the game's still doing great on Steam and it's getting a console release.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna fill all the keys in this game on a controller. But fuck it, it's worth a shot, I guess.
So my first match of Insurgency went a little something like this.
Weird ass nigga just come out of the closet, you gay.
Bro, it's a soundboard, you're slow.
You a fucking
That's a rapper.
You wear the little tiny ass shorts and you look like a fucking UPS driver.
Getting better on the soundboard.
Yeah, fucking god, bitch ass nigga.
And you can laugh at me now, but I am 10,000% sure that your first match will go the same way. I think it's safe to say that in my first few matches, I really wasn't enjoying myself considering that I was spectating more than I was actually playing the game. But after like an hour, something finally clicked and I realized that I should probably stop rushing into the center just to be met with a hail of bullets. So I slowed down, played more passively, and stayed with my team. And that's when I actually started to enjoy myself. Once you get a hang of the gameplay and actually start getting some kills and winning some matches, there is no other FPS as satisfying but at the same time as intense as this one. And that's because of how limited you really are compared to every other FPS. In every other FPS, your character is fitted with a mini-map, magazines where the bullets magically traverse into a new mag, being able to take 8 bullets to the chest, 3 to the head, and magically heal those wounds like Wolverine, being able to control all recoil, being able to prone in half a second, having a shield that can withstand bullets, RPGs, and fuck it, why not, a fucking airstrike. In Insurgency, you have a gun that launches to the heavens as soon as you pull the trigger, leftover ammo won't carry over to a new mag, and you'll lose them all if you try to do a fast reload. Your character might as well be blind with how fucking little they can see and they die in like 2 bullets, and if you somehow survive, then say goodbye to that health for the rest of your life because you don't regen. And if you get shot to the head, don't even think about trying to get back up. Now, I'm not saying that I hate those mechanics in other FPSs. Those have their place and they're a more arcadey style of game. The point I'm trying to drive home is how much more different and realistic Insurgency is compared to every other FPS in the market. Because you're so limited with what you could do, it makes the gameplay legitimately tense. Because if you peek that corner and get shot, you can't hide until your health regenerates. No, peeking that corner either means that you'll lose a fuck ton of health or your head. It forces you to play carefully and be much more aware of your positioning and surroundings. And being able to successfully pick off your enemies is so damn satisfying, and the excellent weapon design definitely helps. I don't think I've ever seen a first-person shooter where basically every gun in the game is competitively viable, but in this game it is that way. Every gun in this game is capable of one-shotting because heads exist. You can work with any gun. A pistol, an AR, an SMG, a sniper, all are capable of murder if you're accurate enough or able to get the jump on your enemy. The sound effects too are just so damn good. Every gun in this game sounds powerful and realistic, and honestly, I think this game has the best gun sound effects next to maybe Modern Warfare. But that's still crazy impressive considering how small the team making Insurgency is compared to the team making Modern Warfare, which is like the entirety of Activision. Recoil also feels really good, probably even more realistic and better than in Siege. Even if I'm dog shit at controlling it. But I'm in luck because the recoil can be controlled easier with some attachments. I'm still ass. Loadout system in the game is interesting, but if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not all that bad and definitely not a deal breaker. It's just pretty limiting, but I completely understand why they did it this way since they're going for realism. And in real life, a person wouldn't be able to carry 2 rifles on their back, 3 pistols on their legs, and a rocket launcher up their ass. The way loadouts work is that you have a set amount of weight that you can carry, and nearly everything costs a certain amount of weight. So some guns weigh 5 pounds, some attachments weigh 3 pounds, some grenades weigh 1 pound, and so on. You can equip your character with a fair amount of stuff, but making them carry as much as they can will result in disadvantages like running slower during combat. If I'm gonna be honest, this system is perfectly fine. I'm just spoiled and want to be able to deck my gun out even though that'd be crazy unbalanced. Similar to Battlefield, you have multiple classes. 8 classes in total here. And if I'm gonna be honest, this is my one major complaint with this game, because the classes here are pretty underwhelming and overall nothing special. The only ones that really matter are probably Commander and Observer since they can call in air support and basically completely wreck the entire enemy team. Another fairly useful class are Demolitionists who can wipe out vehicles and entire platoons with their rockets.
any consolation, we will win this round probably because we have more points.
if they're actually good. Marksmen are just snipers, no crazy gimmick, but I honestly really enjoyed this class overall, and the sniping in this game is really satisfying, even if you can't do 360 no-scopes.
Damn it!
And for the next three classes, I'm gonna be honest, it's kinda dumb having these guns locked behind these three classes. You have Breachers, who just use SMGs, Gunners, who just use LMGs, and Advisor, who use fucking assault rifles. Oh, I'm sorry, exotic weapons. And the final but most used class by far is the Rifleman. This class is just assault rifles. But the reason this is the most used class is mainly because there's no limit on how many riflemen a team can have. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention each class has a limit. Each team can only have 2 commanders, 3 observers, 2 demolitionists, and 2 marksmen. These limitations actually make sense, since you wouldn't want the entire enemy team sending in fucking airstrikes or camping in the back with a sniper for the whole game. That'd be lame, so I'm fine with these classes having limitations. What doesn't make sense is all the other classes having limits. Per team, there can only be 3 breachers, 2 gunners, and 3 advisors. In my opinion, Rifleman, Breacher, Gunner, and Advisor should honestly just be combined to make one class. Maybe that'd be a little unbalanced, but I don't see it being that big of an issue. To me, it's just dumb to limit what guns a player can choose to certain classes. It isn't an insanely big deal, but to me it's my biggest gripe with this game, because I just want to be able to use an SMG without having to wait for some fucker to leave that class. Overall though, I think the way these classes are set up work well for this game, but they could be improved. It's just a bunch of little problems, and speaking of little, these are all the game modes. I mean, all of these game modes are fun as fuck, but come on. Come on. Let's get some more game modes in here. First mode you've got is Push, and this is by far the most played mode in this game, which makes sense because it's the most fun mode by far. Fairly similar to Operations for Battlefield, one team defends while the others attack. The attackers must take each point one by one and work their way up to the final point, which is a weapon cache that they need to blow up. And the defending team has to try to stop them. Both teams have a certain amount of waves. The defenders have 15 waves that never replenish, while the attackers start with 5 and gain more each time a point is captured. And all that makes this mode fun as fuck in the way this game is meant to be played. I'll admit, it can be lame to get into multiple matches where the attackers just lose instantly, but once they begin to make progress and capture more and more points and get more and more reinforcements, that's when this game mode starts to get good. And what's even more intense than that is when your team is completely out of respawns and you need to capture the point to get everyone back in, and damn it, why do I have to suck so bad? This mode is awesome and is Insurgency at its best. And while it's not as in-depth or as cinematic as Operations from Battlefield, it's still awesome. Next is Firefight, and this mode is also really fun. You're trying to either capture all 3 objectives or eliminate the entire enemy team. Respawns in this mode are disabled, and the only way that you can get your team back is by capturing a point. Just like in Push, being the last one alive and trying to capture the point to clutch for your team is intense as fucking god damn it! Why do I have to suck so goddamn bad? This mode is also great, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Skirmish is similar to Push, but instead of one team attacking the other defending, both teams have 15 waves and are trying to capture each other's points and push them all the way back to their spawn. The only way to win this mode is to either push the enemy all the way back or to just kill them until they have no more reinforcements, and that's usually what happens. This mode is fun, but honestly, it just feels like a shittier version of Push. Like, come on, if you had the choice between Skirmish and Push, you choose Push. So honestly, there's no point in this mode. Never mind, please keep this mode because you need as many as possible. And finally, we have Domination, which is as close as you're gonna get to a Call of Duty style of mode. Honestly, despite how bad that sounds, this mode works shockingly well. Even though this game's going for realism, it can still do a fast-paced Rambo style of gameplay really well. In my opinion, if you're having trouble getting a grasp on this game's combat and gunplay, play Domination. You'll feel much more at home, and it's a nice way to get some good practice. Overall, every mode here was good. They're all fun to play in their own way, except for Skirmish because it's just a worse version of Push. But I just wish that we had some more modes. Like, of course, quality over quantity, but there's just so much potential for more modes. Just imagine modes similar to Conquest from Battlefield, but in this game. That would be so fun. And sure, Domination sort of did that, but it felt more like Call of Duty than Battlefield. But the lack of modes is completely forgiven with how great and expansive the maps are. There wasn't a single map in this game that was all around bad. Sure, some are better than others, but overall the selection here is great. In total, there's 13 maps in this game, but that number is doubled because in game modes like Push, each map has an Insurgents and a Security version. In the Insurgents version, the Insurgency are attacking and the map layout is slightly different. And with Security, it's the opposite because now the Security is attacking and the map layout is again slightly different. These differences aren't anything crazy, but it's nice minor changes to the maps that keeps them fresh and stops you from getting bored. Now sure, these maps do look pretty similar to each other. Most of them are just a town with a lot of sand, but overall, the pure abundance of maps and their actual good designs is definitely a massive pro.
There's also a co-op mode that's apparently around 10 hours long, and you can play with your friends. but I don't have any friends, so I didn't play it. Overall, Insurgency Sandstorm is a fucking fantastic game, and while it's definitely not for everyone, if you're into first-person shooters and are looking for either something new or realistic, then Insurgency Sandstorm is definitely worth a shot. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a war to fight. I'll see you all when I get a Medal of Honor.
12 seconds later.
I didn't get a Medal of Honor.